Hi everyone, welcome to the winter solstice Yuletide session. So today what I thought I would talk about is the use of evergreens in magic. Most of us are decorating with evergreens this time of year. If we're not, a lot of us still like to go outside during the winter time and admire the evergreens, but I'm not sure a lot of people actually involve them in their magical workings. So I'm going to show you a few examples of things that grow natively around me, and what I like to use them for, what their metaphysical properties or magical properties are. So the first one I'm going to start with is some cedar. So cedar is really great for purification, healing, and protection. It also has the energy of strength and power and wisdom behind it as well. So this is a really great one. It's also aromatic, so you could easily burn this, maybe make it into like a type of smudge bundle, and use it to purify, protect, cleanse your home. Juniper is another favorite of mine. I love the blue berries on it, and it is my favorite herb for protection. Every single mojo bag that I make for protection has juniper in it. It's also aromatic. People either love or hate the smell of juniper, so I'll leave that up to you to decide. It's not something I would personally want to wear, but I do love the energy of burning juniper in my home. It's super, super, super protective. So the next one I have, this is a fir. This is a Fraser fir, is this particular type. So there are different types of firs, just like there are different types of pines. So how you can tell the difference between a fir and a pine is that a fir has flat needles and you can't roll them between your fingers, and a pine has round needles and you can roll them between your fingers. So that will help you differentiate between those. So firs are another great one for protection. They also have kind of a citrusy scent, and I'm going to get into citrus in just a little bit and kind of how it pairs with this time of year and with evergreens. But this is another great one that I love to add to my protection mojos in the winter time. I like to sort of shift the scheme of the plants that I'm working with throughout the seasons. So whatever is available seasonally is typically what I work with when I'm making custom mojos or custom candles, custom herbal dressings, anything like that. So I really shift and work with the seasons, which is another way for me to honor the wheel of the year. So now we'll get to the pine that I had just brought up. This is actually one of my plant allies. Long ago, one of my first herbal sort of, what would you call it? I guess an herbal learning retreat, an herbal educational retreat. I learned that white pine was one of my plant allies. So this was also interesting to me because I grew up around a lot of pine and white pine, and where I'm from we're taught sort of a lot of wilderness survival techniques, and I was always taught that it was very high in nutrition. So it has a lot of vitamins and nutrients, and if you were out in the wilderness, something that you could do was, as long as you had a source of water and you had a way to make fire, you could boil pine bark or pine needles and sort of drink it as a tea to sustain your energy because it was so nutritious. So that sort of gives us an idea as to where we're going with white pine. It's very healing, very protective, very nourishing. Pine is a great herb to be used in love or reconciliation, marriage work. A lot of people don't think of it that way, but it has a similar sort of plant fingerprint as like say mints do. Mints are also binding and protective, but they're also very good for love work. So if you are looking for sort of more stability in your relationships, more commitment, maybe some progression to the next level, pine is a great ally to work with. So I have a little sprig here of what is called Winterberry where I'm from. I can't remember the exact species, what the genus name is of this. And you don't have to have the Winterberry. You could have holly. You could use rose hips. But the idea of berries around this time of year is if you were to go out and harvest those and involve them as offerings in your work, it adds like a really youthful, vibrant, energetic, fruitful abundance of energy to your work. So berries are a great time, and they're actually pretty prolific during the winter months. You just have to go out and look for them, and you'll find different types. But to involve them in your workings they really do give your work a big like spruce of really youthful, vibrant energy. So I highly recommend going out and finding yourself some wild berries to add to your work. Not only that, but they're really nice for decorating with. Of course, all of the evergreens are, but a splash of color is always nice in the winter time as well. So I have a couple here that people don't usually think of too much, but it's starting to get more popular in winter arrangements. If you go out and buy a winter arrangement bouquet or maybe garlands to put up, is eucalyptus. So eucalyptus is not native to where I grow, to where I live, to where I grow. But I do consider it an evergreen. It's what we would call an everlasting, which means that it's a flower that you can dry and it will look exactly the same as it did when it was alive. So eucalyptus, I'm sure many of us are aware of during this time of year, using eucalyptus in our home for its healing and cleansing and restorative properties. We find it a lot in our health medicines, our cold medicines, things like that we take for either preventative measures or for treatment. So really good. Think of it as it cleanses out your lungs and your nasal passages. Think of it also has that same ability to cleanse and prepare your home. This would be a great herb to burn before protection work. So to sort of like get everything out of the way, clear those passages, those spiritual passages, and then you can use protective herbs after that to fill in those passages with protective energy. So this is one of my favorites, is magnolia leaf. I love magnolia leaf. They have this really beautiful, like leathery, shiny appearance on the top, and then the back is this really like suede-like rust brown color. They're really gorgeous texture-wise. And magnolia is one of my favorite plants to work with because of its versatility. You can use magnolia for both protection, for removal of hexes, and you can also use it for restorative work on, say, love situations. So it has a really, really sort of twofold part there. And my favorite way to use it, though, is definitely for the protection aspect. A lot of people don't think of magnolia in that way, especially like the hex breaking and releasing part of it, because when we think of the tree and the flower, it is so beautiful that we typically would just associate something like that with love. But I really think that this plant is more geared towards hex breaking, hex removal, evil eye removal, and protection. Energetically, to me, that's how I've always worked with it, and I think that that is the best way to utilize this plant. You can now get wreaths made entirely out of magnolia. I actually have one on my door right now, and I think it is just an absolute perfect way to put a protective symbol at the beginning of your home. I do also sell magnolia cones on my website, which will probably be linked below. And the magnolia cones are great to bring peace and happiness into the home. So that's something else that you can also hang around your home and bring in that energy during this time of year. Most of us aren't dealing with family members, extended family, relatives this time of year simply because of the state of where we are in the world. But you know what? I think all of us being home so much together right now, that adding a little peace and protection and sort of calming and serene energy so that we stay off each other's nerves, I think is really, really important right now to do as maintenance work, so we don't annoy the crap out of each other. So while you may not be having, all kinds of friends and family and meeting new people and having them over to your home this time of year, think about sustaining the quality of the environment and the relationships in your home right now, because that's a really, really important aspect to focus on with your magic during this time. So I have a couple more things. So this is a small, what we call a clementine, but oranges and citrus, I have a little sweet lemon here too, are really, really great for this time of year and to combine with the evergreens. You can also combine them with the evergreens and then use your traditional sort of, Yuletide herbs, clove, cinnamon, allspice, and nutmeg. So what I like to do is I like to peel one of these, take the peel and put it into a small pot on my stove. Add maybe a sprig of fir, because I like the citrusy scent of the fir needles, and add just maybe a tablespoon of cloves, a couple of cinnamon sticks, a tablespoon of whole allspice, and then grate some fresh whole nutmeg in there and let that simmer on the stove. So the great thing about citrus this time of year is, when I was little, I used to get citrus and nuts in my stocking, like Brazil nuts, hazelnuts, almonds, pecans, things like that, because those are very expensive things. Citrus during this time of year was very expensive. It used to be, before we could import whatever produce we want all over the world. So it was often a sign of giving your most valuable, most important thing was giving somebody a piece of citrus that time of year. So it kind of takes us back to an acknowledgement of like an old time of what was valuable. What would be your most valuable thing to give away if people couldn't go buy whatever they wanted with just a click of a button. So I still really love the wealth and abundance and rich energy associated with citrus for that aspect. So what I like to do is make that simmer pot I was talking about. You would always involve your citrus. And all of those herbs, the clove is for success, nutmeg is for luck, allspice is for really having the upper hand and winning at your goals. And then cinnamon is also a very energetic, the energy of that herb is also love and luck. So that's a really great mix to put on your stove and simmer. Let it carry through your house. Envision it sort of, encapsulating everyone, washing over everyone, waving over everyone with this protective, abundant, wealthy energy. And it's a really great way to bring that into your home. It's super simple and nobody even knows you're doing it. The other great thing about citrus, especially combined with clove, a lot of times you'll see people make pomanders out of an orange at this time of year, which is where you take your orange and you make a design in it with the clove buds. You can make a design or you could fill the whole thing in, it doesn't matter. But the clove and the citrus scent is really wonderful, but the magical properties of clove and citrus are very much for open roads. So if you had something you were working on this time of year and you really wanted an extra boost, or you wanted to make a physical offering towards this goal and say, I am creating this, and with every clove that I enter into this orange, I am nailing my goal into my life, I am sealing it into my life, that would be a really, really great way to open the roads to your goals for 2021. I think that there's nothing better this time of year than utilizing our native evergreens, citrus, and really getting our homes cleansed and prepped and protected, and then opening those roads and welcoming in 2021, especially after 2020. So I really encourage you to take some time, get outside, see what evergreens grow around you. If you can usually take a picture now and then use identification like on Google to help you identify the plant, so it'll let you know, and then you can look up the metaphysical properties of it. So get outside, get some fresh air, because it's great for your health, and enjoy some sunshine, or enjoy a bit of snow, or enjoy the cool, whatever you have where you are. Learn about some native plants around you. Bring them into your home. Bless your home with that protection and purification. And don't forget to try adding your herbs and spices and your evergreens and your citrus to your simmer pot on your stove to bring in that abundance and protection and successful energy for 2021. May you all be blessed, protected, purified, peaceful, filled with harmony, love, and health this time of year and into 2021. Happy New Year, everyone, and be blessed.